today, so everything should be working. Except, of course, for Windows users, which always have problems that I can never get to. We'll see what happens. Should be all right, but never seems to be. All right, so here's an app. Now, this was the official Indian National ID card app. And there was an Indian hacker on Twitter at this time that published how to hack it, and I used that as the information to make this project. So you need to get this particular old version, of course. And so let's download this, save it in downloads. And now I'm going to put it on the phone. And if you don't have a host machine, like you working in a virtual and private cloud, you'd open this web page on the phone and download it on the phone and install it from there. But since I have the access to the host machine, I can use drag and drop to install it on the phone, which is the way most students can do it. So I can drag this over here. Now it's going to complain incompatible. That's because I've already done the project once on this phone, and I've replaced this app with a hacked app with a different signature. And you can't update an app with a different signature than the existing app. So I have to remove the existing app. So that's launch settings and go to apps. And there it is, and I'll uninstall it. All right. And while I'm at it, I'll take this off too. That's the other project I'm going to demonstrate today. Okay, now the app is no longer on the phone. So now I can drag and drop it, and it should install. All right, so it hasn't complained. I think that means it installed. And I can tell if I go here, it's M Aadhaar. Probably means something in Hindi. Anyway, now if you launch this, it's going to tell you your device is rooted. It won't run. First, it tells you it's built for an older version, but even if you say OK, it won't run because it tells you right there, your device is rooted, this has root detection, and you cannot run it on a rooted phone, which, by the way, is a good idea, and pretty much every app should have this protection, but most of them don't. So what we're going to do is hack it so it runs on a rooted phone. So I'm going to get rid of this one to make room for a modified version. So now I'm back to having a phone that doesn't have that app on it. And we'll just hack it, which is quite similar to the hacking we did before with the Progressive app. So I'm going to use JADX GUI. I'll just launch it in the command line here, JADX GUI. All right. Which we've used in previous projects. This is a wonderful tool to analyze apps. And then we can open up the app in here and read it. So it's in my downloads folder. There we are. And it's M Aadhaar. LM. Well, I thought it was there. Oh, in Gov. Yeah, M Aadhaar Plus. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay. So this is now loading. All right, and there we go. Now, that's one thing to do. Now, the first, all right, so that's get that tool on there. Now, we can also look at the manifest, and you can do that in this tool. At the bottom, Resources Manifest. Android Manifest. Okay, here's the Android Manifest. We've looked at this before. It shows all the permissions the app needs and all the visible pages, the activities, and other things. And what we're going to do is we're going to notice the launcher activity, which is splash screen activity. When you first load the app, one special activity is called launcher. That's the first one you'll see. And usually near the top, these are activities. Here's full screen, home activity, create profile. Oh, I'm not finding it. I'm going to see if I can do search. Does Command F work? It does. So launcher. 2 results, okay. Here's one. And there's the other. Here's the Android category launcher. There it is. So this is the activity that launches. That activity is called splash screen activity. So that's the first thing the phone, and notice what happened. We launched the thing, it popped up a warning message. We never even saw anything part of the app at all. So this must be the part that detects the root. This thing here, InGov UI Die, So we should be able to find that. If we go here, in gov UIDI, MAdHAR plus UI activity, okay, UI activity. Notice that they've used Google's ProGuard that renames some of the things A, B, C, D, but it never seems to rename any of the ones with important names, so it does no good at all. Anyway, and then splash screen activity is the one. I notice all the names I need are still there. It just seems to obscure the stuff that's not interesting. So here's the splash screen activity. All right, so this is what's going to happen when you load the phone. And so it's renamed to some of these modules here. Now let me go to my instructions to help wade through this. And so this explains how it works. This is from the activity launches. And all right, the first thing it runs is the onCreate. Oh, so now what it does is it calls onCreate. When an activity is launched, it calls the onCreate method in there. So here I am, and this is do in background in the splash screen activity. There are things inside the splash screen activity, and the one I want is onCreate. Just like all object-oriented code, the first thing it does is create things, then it uses it. So this is where the actual code starts. And this, if A this, then, and FB this, that is in fact the tamper detection. And let me go down here where I can have an explanation of, okay, these are the important parts of it. And here, by the way, is another one that's pretty easy to read. If FA this and FB that, that part is a little bit hard to read, but if you go down a little bit, you'll see if rooted. If FA contacts this, and FA contacts that, well, this one here seems to have changed, so it's not as obvious where the root code is, but anyway, it's there. All right. Anyway, the first section is integrity verification using FA and FB. This is another great thing apps should do. They should not let you run, not let you modify them and run. They should check right away to see if it's been modified and then refuse to run if it's been modified. That's what this is going to do. The second section is going to use a method named B to detect the rooted device. And let's see if I can find that. I found the FA this and FA that, and here's the B. Now, I don't have the comment or something about being rooted, which is a little less friendly. But anyway, those methods are the methods that do it. So we're going to look at the UI activity BF. So it imports a module called BF, and that is what and F contains modules called A and B. Like I say, it's been renamed a lot. So we scroll up and navigate to that, MAdHAR plus BF. So here's MAdHAR plus BF. All right, and in there we find the A method.
They're in alphabetical order.
And I don't see A, so let's see. B, it's a little tricky. So I got to find, I got to do B.F. And I didn't do that. I went straight to F. It's B. That's why it's a little confusing. No?
Already got B open.
Oh, I already have B. Okay, was it B.F? Okay, B.F. All right. And in here, I want to find A, I think. And I thought I would find it here. Oh, it is down here. They're not in, the problem, they're in order, but the different types of parameters are sorted separately. So these are ones with one group of parameters. Here's one with another parameter. Here's an A. There's a couple of A's. This, I think, is the actual function. That's why it's a little bit tricky to find your way around in here. And this is the point of that security tool, to make it a little harder to reverse engineer. But it's still not too hard. You can find the A method as shown below. It's A context we want, which is, I think, either this one or the one after it. We want the one that's going to have for signature. I'm still having trouble finding it. It is public static Boolean A. All right, public static string A, public static string, public static void, public static void. This is the public static Boolean A. This is the one. Yep, okay. And it refers to message digest, so you can see what it does. It takes like an MD5 or some kind of message digest of the app and checks to see if it's the right value, which is a way to detect if the app has been modified. Now, the point is, it compares a SHA-250 size hash with a hard-coded value to see if the app has been modified. Okay. All right, so that's what happens, and now we're going to modify the app. Now, you have to have APK tool, and I found out last night that if you have Debian and you put on the default version of APK tool in the repositories, it didn't work for the last project. APK tool has a lot of versions, so I updated it. So if I do APK tool -- version, I now have 2.12.1, which is the latest version. And I have instructions here how to download that version and install it on your Debian machine. This is a very common problem with Debian, and for that matter, Ubuntu. The repositories are often very out of date because the volunteers don't bother to keep updating the version. So often it has a version of a tool that's several years out of date. And so often you have to go to the primary source to get the modern version of a tool. Anyway, so now I have this tool. Now I can unpack the app. So I'm on this machine. I don't have the app on here yet. I'm going to need to get it. One simple way to do it is just download it from my website again inside the Debian machine. So I can copy the URL here. And by the way, I think I might have written those instructions down here. Let's see. Inside your... Yep, we have to get it on there. So you could drag and drop it into Linux if you had a graphical Linux, but I don't, so I'm just going to get it from my website again. There, download it from my website right here into my Linux machine. All right, now if I look, now I've got it, and let me make this window a little smaller. All right, so there it is. I got the app. It is, what is this, 12 megs, I guess. All right, so now I can unpack it here. This will disassemble the app, and these do not disassemble the resources. So I'll use APK tool to do it. It's all automatic if APK tool works. And in order for that to work, you have to have a relatively modern version of APK tool. So it appears to have run without any errors. So now I'm going to disable the integrity control. Now I know it's in the splash screen activity, and so I'm going to show screens that include that phrase, splash screen activity. And here you see the same path we saw before. AMAD, HAR plus UI, activity, and so on. All the splash screen activity is in that file, splashscreenactivity.smalley. So that's where the action is. All we have to do is edit that file, splashscreenactivity.smalley. So there we are. Now, we want to find the FA and FB methods, which are here. So we can look for invoke static P0. It's going to be down a bit. The start of the code always defines the global parameters and static fields and all this stuff. And then the methods come after it's defined them. Here's the method public constructor, which is called originally to start this, to prepare this, the constructor. Then there's onconnected and onconnect suspended and stuff like that. So let's just go here. I'm looking for invoke static P0. I got invoke virtual, but I don't have invoke static. There's invoke static empty. Here's invoke static P0. And there's FA. This looks like the right area. Yeah, and then there's invoke static FB. So this is the A and the B. And those methods, one of them are the things that calculate the hash and compare the hash to detect it. And the point is, when it's done, calculating the hash and fetching the variable it should match, and then comparing them, it compares them and then returns a value here. And 0 is what it returns if the app is modified. It returns 0. So all you have to do is change this 0 to a 1. And it will always tell it that the app is not modified. So that fixes that.
That's the return value?
That's the return value. So 1 means not modified, 0 means modified, so now it will always just return 1. So that passes the integrity check. Now I want to stop the root detection, and for that all I have to do is find the place where it calls root beer, which is a little further down. So scroll down, there we are, right there, only a few lines further down. This is the code that does root detection. And I can just comment it all out, down to that cond1. This is the thing that loads the root beer library, which is somebody's library to detect if the phone is rooted. And these lines go through some effort to run that library and decide if it's rooted, and I'm just going to not do any of that. I think condition 1, right, condition 1 is unrooted. So now it will always report it's unrooted. That's it. That's all we have to do. We've turned off the integrity detection and the root detection. So now we just have to rebuild the app, which is as before APK tool B, and then the name of the app. As long as I haven't made any mistakes in the code modification, and I have a modern version of APK tool, we should be good. Looks like it worked. All right, so now we have to sign it. So I'll create a key signing certificate as before. Give it a password. Try again. All right, now I need to make a certificate, so I have to answer yes to the last question. All right, now I have a certificate, and now I sign the APK with jar signer. And the password. All right, so now I've got the app signed. All right, and I need to move it onto the phone. All right, so I uninstall the old app. I've already done that. Now I'm going to install the modified app. Now, if you had a graphical Linux environment, you could just drag it on the desktop, drag it onto the phone, but I don't. All I have is a headless Linux machine, so I'm going to serve it up with Apache, as you've done before. So I can do sudo apt install Apache. It's already on there anyway. This will tell me that. All right, and now I just need to move that app, and I decided to change its name when moving it just to make it less annoying to type into the Android device. I'm going to save it in var www.html. Oh, forgot to put that in my instructions, but I am going to put a simpler name on it. I'm going to call it, here, let's just call it m.apk, there. m.apk. There, that saves me some typing. Okay, now it's serving up that app on my IP address, which is here, 192.168.121.190, so I can put that directly on the phone. So here, open a browser and go to HTTP, and that address, 192.168.121.190, and then m.apk. Somehow the dot didn't go. There we go. All right. File can't be downloaded securely. That's okay. It's an HTTP connection. It's downloaded. I can open it, run the installer, and when I did it before, it said you have to authorize installing from this location and stuff, but I've already done that, so it's installed. So now we're done. Now I'm going to see if I can run the modified app. Because remember, the previous app, the real app, won't even launch because I'm on a rooted phone. See if I can get this to go. There we go. It is possible to sweep that up. It's just annoyingly difficult. All right. Now, this shows me the apps, and there's mAdhar. And now, it just warns you that it's built for an older version, but it showed the splash screen. Now here it's going to ask to make calls, so you can say allow, and now you'll find a flag on this page. So now the original guy hacked it further and made it do all sorts of other things, but this is as far as I went. This showed you how to defeat these security measures. If you can see the splash screen, there's a flag there, but if it vanishes quickly, you can also find the flag down here. So that's what I wanted to show you. Let me stop the recording.